Okay, sure. Hi, I'm James Lott Jr. Welcome to Extra Connections here on JLJ Media, my online network, over 45 shows. And this show, we're always connecting with people, ideas, and works. And this one's a good one. It's called Miracles for Kids. And so I'll tell you what they say here. They are a nonprofit serving children with life-threatening illnesses and the families that care for them, which is also very important too. The family support is also very important when they're going through that. Founded in 2002 and led by my guest, co-founder and CEO, Autumn Strier. Hello, Miss Autumn.
Well, hi there. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. So I do some work with make sure I say it correctly, the National Association of Perinatal Social Workers.
Oh, wow.
I do
Okay.
stuff with them. I do speaking engagements stuff with them. And the reason why I bring it up, because when I read this, that you're serving the children and the families. That's what postnatal, prenatal, perinatal. It's about not just the actual child, baby, toddler / whatever it is they're doing, but the families need support too.
Right.
Isn't that also very important? It's very important, isn't it?
It's absolutely critical. I mean, if the child isn't stable, how are they going to react to treatment? How are they going to have their emotional support taken care of? And then, of course, it obliterates an entire family, which sounds like you know a lot about what that is in support of that other organization.
Yeah. I just think that people don't always think about the family part of this. It's of course, we do the child who's going through whatever the illness, of course, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on financially, emotionally, I just said emotionally, financially, even sometimes geographically. So you guys, so what are some of the things that you offer during as part of the service?
So you're right. I mean, you hit all the core buttons, right? So financially, sure, family has no idea what's going on with their son or daughter. They rush them to the ER, or they make that incredible doctor's appointment where they're thinking, oh, something's wrong with his leg. Maybe he injured it, or, maybe she fell down on the playground. We've had hundreds of stories where they get there and they're like, you know what, actually it's leukemia. It's fairly serious. And you're going to be inpatient for the next 3 months. Oh. So, I mean, imagine that, right? Mom or dad trying to go to work, brothers and sisters need to go to school. I mean, it just obliterates the entire family. And that's why, the financial hit primarily is just devastating. So if you were stable, well, it's not going to take long for you to not be stable anymore, because these treatment periods, you're talking 3-6 months, sometimes 3-4 years.
Yeah. Yes. Now, I actually want to ask you something. I mean, during COVID, the beginning version, because we different versions of the thing now, right?
What version are we on now?
I know. I'm like, so I'll just say 2020, because 2021 is starting getting a little opening up more. But how difficult was for you guys dealing with that during? Because 2020, a lot of times the parents couldn't be with the kids, and they could be. I mean, was it difficult to shape and pivot what your response is to that?
I think the very first thing we did, so I think we're based in Irvine, California, even though we support families along the West Coast. We shut down like second week of March. And the minute that the world shut down, we sort of went into 24/7 mode, right? We turned on even more because the families that we serve, more than half of them live or are in treatment in LA County. And you're talking about apartment complexes and multifamily environments where the families were scared to death to even leave their apartments because you didn't know, right? You were just learning what was going to happen. And if you have a critically ill child, oh my gosh, I mean, you're going to lock them in their room, right? And we've all learned about the emotional impact that had on their wellness. But the very first thing that we did is we started phone banking, right? Calling every single one of our families and saying, what's going on? Did you keep your job? What do you need? And then from there, I can't even imagine how quickly we turned on a dime or pivoted, which is, our favorite word these days.
I know, pivot,
repivot.
Yes, that's true. That's fun. That's very cool. Okay, so you guys went straight into action. It was like, okay,
straight into action. Yeah. Yep, food delivery. We actually launched one of the programs that is now core to the organization's mission. We call it Box of Miracles. But, in March of 2020, how are you going to get supplies, PPE, and other necessary items to someone's home? We started shipping 300 boxes a month. and we had no volunteers, and staff was rotating, doors were open, masks were on, everyone's outside, but we loved it. We got it done, and we loved it so much, and our families and donors loved it so much that we still do it. And we've given every box a name, every month's got a theme, and it's, it became fun for us. So now it's something we love so much, we're going to keep doing it.
Well, the thing about the pandemic, I mean, a lot of stuff was born out of this. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we shouldn't have to do that, but I'm just saying it's like there's some great ideas that, because we were forced, we're laughing that we used the word pivot, but we were really forced to relook at how we do things.
Absolutely.
Right? We had to really look and go, what are we doing? And is this effective, and almost how can we be more effective? And we got to do it differently now. I mean, that's God bless you guys. I mean, that is just I'm that time period, it was like skeleton crew and just like let's just keep doing it. It was a wow. Okay, so let's talk about how it was founded in was it 20 years ago? Was it 20? Am I saying that right? 20 years ago.
Well, I'm 28, so I don't know how that's possible, but yes.
It's founded in 2002. That is.
Yes, so clearly I'm not 28, right?
I know. That's why I'm laughing. But I'm saying, you look great though. You don't know about that girl. But I was just like, wow. But I'm saying in terms, I'm like, wow, that's been around for a long time. So how to get started?
You know what? It's a long story that I'll try and encapsulate, but it all boils down to my 7th grade English teacher's little brother. So I know, crazy, right?
Okay.
I was on the receiving side of charity as a kid. And when I was in middle school, I needed to find a job. I was living an independent life, as a young person, and bouncing around some family homes as things in my nuclear family was changing. And I relied on the community, right? I mean, a tennis coach who snuck sneakers in my high school locker because mine had huge holes in them, and getting jobs and getting access to money to help, put food on the table for myself and gas in the car, right? So, so many of us have been through that, right? We just start early and we figure it out. I couldn't have done it without the community helping me. And one of them was my 7th grade English teacher, who happened to be beautifully pregnant when I was in 7th grade, and I figured she needed a babysitter. I'm an only child. So I said, hey, could I be the family babysitter? And as it turned out, I became the family babysitter for both of her kids. Wow. Became sort of like a extra member of the family. And I got very close with her younger brother, who was a mortgage broker here in Orange County. Wow. So, I go to undergraduate, I go to graduate school back east, and, put myself through school, got myself stable, and then ended up moving back to the West Coast to be closer to family. And Curtis is his name. And he called one day and he said, I know you're doing this thing. And I was working for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society as their lobbyist back east. And he said, I have this other idea. We're a mortgage company. We're going gangbusters. We have an employee contribution program, and we have a tax ID, but we don't do anything with it. How about you stop doing that, come over here and build an organization? And boom,
like
18 years ago.
It's like handed to you, like say, okay, here, we got this tax ID now.
Right? Wow. A little tiny piece of paper. And I'm like, I said no a couple times. And then I thought, you know what? It's my opportunity to create a solution where there isn't one, and to help families in need and to be there. And, all of that, all the administrative stuff comes after that, right? Because then you're like, how and who and where the heck am I going to find anybody to help me, and money? But that all comes after the desire to change the world, sort of happens, and then you jump.
Wait, so you were a lobbyist. I know about lobbying stuff. So for MS, so then about laws and regulations and
I do. As it turns out, I was a political science international relations undergrad, because I'm sort of into that kind of stuff, and I love the world, and I love to see how the world works. And when I was in a work study program, I went to UC Santa Barbara, and I had this great financial aid package where I got to work in their work study program in that case, City of Carpinteria, which is right by Santa Barbara. And the finance manager was like, hey, did you know you could go to graduate school to run nonprofits? And I said, get out of here. Really? And it turns out you could. I went to NYU to do that. And you know what? Ever since then, I've been just learning and growing, and eventually was given the opportunity to build my own solution. So it all worked out.
It did. Wow. You have a great academic career too. You went to some good schools.
Oh, I feel blessed. Yes, thank you.
No, you really did. But I didn't know they had a program for learning how to run a nonprofit. I didn't know that. Didn't know it either.
Yeah. They call it it's an MPA or an MBA for the nonprofit and government sector.
Why not? I think actually, why not? Right? If you MBA something, why not? I mean, why not? I like that. Okay, I did not know that. Okay, right. Okay, so I mean, okay, so we know it's hard at first. I worked in nonprofit work for years off and on, so I know how tough it can be. They always say the cycles are you 5-6 years, get out of it or whatever. But some folks stay there a long time, right? They always say things like that. You're going to do it for so many years, you're done. But you're sticking in it, and you've gone through pandemics, recessions, all this kind of stuff. You've gone through all this stuff. What is one thing? I just want to ask you, almost like a business thing kind of thing. What is one thing that you have learned these last years that has helped serve you running a business, a nonprofit?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. So you mentioned recession, right? So 2007, 2008,
yes.
The opposite side of the bubble. You talked pandemic, which was 12 or 13 years later.
Yeah.
The one thing that I counted on was that our community would support each other. I banked on it, right? I'm serving families with sick children. So whether you're in a recession, the pandemic, whether you have or you don't have, you can imagine that health is the great equalizer, and the greatest way to appeal to a family, a donor, a company is to remind them that it could happen to them too. Because health doesn't care if you're a multimillionaire or you're homeless, right? It's that one thing that's going to hit us all, who knows when. And when we were going through all of our ups and downs, I kept thinking, you know what? I'm the conduit to someone else's story. So, I mean, the business approach, absolutely get in a room where you could just tell someone's story and then ask for help, because all they can do is say no. And it's not for you, it's for someone else. So, you know what? You just get in there and you ask. And, to their credit, our community that we all live in, people step up for other people. And it's an amazing thing to count on.
I love that message. I tell people all the time, a closed mouth don't get fed. So, I mean, seriously, if you don't ask, I mean, the thing is, like you said, have your story, have your stuff solid and there. It's your truth, your whatever, and then go in and see what happens. And I've had pieces of that myself. I've been in business now 15 years myself, doing what I'm doing now. And I've had great support from my communities that have actually supported you. Not everybody says yes. Yeah, that happens. Nobody says yes. But I always say the right people say yes.
Right. And it's a matter of getting in the room and asking the right question, right? So, to your point, you sort yourself out. Make sure that you're knowledgeable. And, if I've got to talk audits, I'll talk audits. And if I need to talk about toys at Christmas, I'm ready to talk about toys at Christmas. So, you do that part. And then all they can do is say no. So you hold yourself together, right? And I don't know about you, but early days, probably 1 out of 10, maybe 1 out of 20 in any given week. And it was like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do it again. And then eventually, it gets a little bit better.
It does. I actually written books on it. So you can go check out my books on Amazon.com. I wrote books about entrepreneurship.
I'm on that. And organizing.
That's what I do. Yeah.
I learned a little bit about you and your organizing. And I might be dipping a toe in the OCD pool and proud of my type A side. But I definitely love that. And I can't wait to read it all.
Thank you. Well, also for you, to run a nonprofit, to run a business, you have to have systems in place that work. That's organization also. They have systems in place that don't work against you and when you're running your company. It's very important. I will support organizing for the rest of my life. I'm all about organizing stuff. But
everything, right? It really is. It really is. And I've got 3 teenagers, if you can believe it. And
I can't believe it. Sorry.
Only 1 out of the 3 really has the organizing DNA. So I'm like,
That's so funny.
Still this.
Yes. Believe it or not, I have 4 grandchildren.
Oh,
congratulations. And thank you. 3 grandsons and a granddaughter. And I had 2 daughters. So I didn't have boys. I was like, boys finally. But of course, the one I'm closest to, the one that's the most like me is my granddaughter.
Yeah, I bet she's super organized and loves it too. Label makers, maybe? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Everything has its place.
All of it.
Yeah, everything has its place. There's a system. She's a system for everything. She's great in sports. She's very smart in her homework. I'm like, of all my grandsons, my granddaughter's the one. Like, that's the one.
Well, I should have known because my husband has ADD and there's 85 projects around the house that have been started and never finished. And I've been married almost 23 years and I've got ones from way back in the day and they're still not done. Sometimes I think it's funny. Sometimes it drives me over the edge.
I was gonna say, sometimes it is funny. Sometimes you're like, okay, this is still sitting here. But then the other Autumn is going, come on.
Oh, yeah, the other Autumn is going crazy and I have to keep her down for sure.
I love it. So why kids, not adults? There's organizations for adults. Why'd you choose kids?
I think because I was one. And well, weren't we all, right? So that's a silly statement, but I was one that didn't have a lot of resources. Only child, single mom, lived with grandparents for a while, stayed with friends for a while. There is so few resources in the community for kids because I think most of us think that kids all have families and that these kids are all going to have all the support they need, right? Or the alternative is you're an adult, you should have it together. Well, I think our families are trying to have it together, right? They're going through life. And I think kids are the ones that count on others. And there are not always people to count on. And I wanted to be the solution to that. So kids, right? Because you can change the trajectory of their life by keeping a family stable, helping them get through it if they can, God willing, right? We can't change the course of a disease, but we can help a family stay stable with the hope that if they do get on the other side, the family's still intact and that changes their life.
Like that. I feel like that. Okay, so what can people do if they want to help and involve themselves in Miracle for Kids? Like what can the public, somebody's watching this goes, I want to do something for them. What are the ways they can actually assist?
So my favorite question in the world is that one, right? So Miracles for Kids wasn't just built on, a dollar donation, right? It's built on an hour of time too. One of the most important things that anyone in the community can do is just volunteer. We are run on a very large volunteer base, whether it's school clubs or community organizations or corporate partners that help us stuff those boxes I was talking about, because we need 20 to 30 volunteers every month to do that, whether it's in the office, whether it's we've got the golf tournaments and the galas and all of that fun stuff, if that's your thing. The other thing that we need is things to put in the boxes. So what if you are a stay-at-home mom or dad and you like to knit beanies, or you love to write notes, or you have, a side of you that's an artistic side, or whether or not you've got a product, right? You've got overstock and you can't sell it because it's out of season or it's slightly off. We want all of it. And we would love all of it. So any type of involvement from anyone in the community is a blessing to us, and we've got a place for you. So if anybody's listening to this, please call us, please email us. And of course, the website, very easy, miraclesforkids.org.
Yes. I have some stuff I should give you guys.
Hey, send it my way.
Organizing products.
Yeah, I would love it.
I just thought I do. I try to do that. That's interesting. Okay. See, folks, I'm thinking about it too.
Yes, right? You've got these books that you write. You've probably got great wisdom that our families could use, especially our teens. We've got wellness issues. So we need to remind kids to stay strong and stay focused. So look, all of it helps, right? All of it helps someone.
Yeah. And that's her point. It's just that, what you may have to offer could be great for them. So again, don't sit there and go, well, maybe I don't have, don't second guess yourself. Call them, email them, let them know what's going on. They'll tell you what they can use or not use, right? You'll tell them.
Oh yeah, no, I'll tell them. And I'll say thank you for everything. And you're talking grandparents all the way to infants, right? So we hit all ages.
See, voice like that. Autumn, you're great. I can tell why you're a success. I can see it. I totally see it and feel it. And you're doing God's work. So congratulations on the continued success of Miracles for Kids. And I'm gonna get involved somehow too, folks. I'm telling you that right now. I'm gonna get involved somehow too. I'm gonna work it out. So we're gonna work it out.
Thank you. I'm gonna hold you to it because
I'm only in LA. I'm not far away. I'm not far away. I'm in LA. I'm not that far away. I can do something.
No, and we've got board members and donors in LA. And again, more than half of the families we serve are in hospitals in LA. So it's all about one family here in Southern California and beyond. So I would love it, and we'd be grateful for it. Thank you.
I love that. Okay, so again, tell folks where they can find Miracles for Kids and anywhere they can find it. Go ahead and do that.
Yep. So miraclesforkids.org. You can email us at info@miraclesforkids.org. You can give us a call, 714-730-3040. And if you want to talk to me, you just call and you say, I want to talk to Autumn. And I would love to take the call.
There you go, kids. I'm James Lott Jr., and you can follow me at alotofhelp.com or anywhere else on the interwebs at James Lott Jr., of course. And again, we're all about connection, and I always say we're the village, and now she's part of my village, I'm part of her village. It's all the village mentality where we lift each other up, we support each other, and we look out for each other. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And I want to encourage more of that. And so she's doing it, her people are doing it. So let's do more of that. Let's encourage more of that. We all live on this planet together, so why not help each other out? Everyone have a great day, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.